All right, we're going to go over long division. Now, real quick vocabulary lesson. The divisor is the number outside. The dividend is the number inside, the larger number. And the quotient is the answer to the division problem. And these words, divisor, dividend, and quotient, are only applicable when talking about division numbers. All right, let's move on to our division problem. I represented each number's place value with a different color. I had these the same, but this is the hundreds, the tens, and the ones column. Let's go ahead and get started. And what we say is, how many times does 3 go into 579? Another way to write that is 579 divided by 3. So in this version, or in this form, we do 3 goes into 579. I don't know how many that is, so I got to break it down into smaller parts. The way I do that is, I'll just start with the first number. How many times does 3 go into 5? Now, I might not know my multiplication or factors of 3 very well off the top of my head, so I went ahead and wrote all my factors over here on the side. I know that 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, and so on. I wrote out my factors of 3 all the way to 36. Now, if you don't know what your factors of 3 are, it's very easy. All you have to do is add 3 each time. 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 plus 3 is 12, 12 plus 3 is 15, and each time you go up 1, that's your next factor. So, first question I'm asking myself is, how many times does 3 go into 5? I'm going to look at my factors. I'm going to try to find where 5 would go. 5 would go in between the 3 and the 6 here. Now, I don't pick the number bigger than the 5. I choose the number that's just before it. So that number that's just before it is 3. And 3 goes into 5 one time. I'm going to go ahead and put my 1 above that 5. Now, 3 times 1 is 3. So you write that product underneath the 5. See if I get this to focus. There we go. And do a subtraction problem. 5 take away 3 is 2. Good. And the last part of this first step is bring down your next place value, which is your tens. So now your new question is, how many times is 3 going to 27? If you get this step alone, you've solved how to do long division, because it's this same step over and over again. Let's go over it real quick. How many times does 3 go into 5? It goes into 5 once, because 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 would be 6, and that's bigger than 5, so we can't use that. So we use the 3 times 1. We write our product here. 5 take away 3 is 2. Bring down your next number at 7. And now our question is, well, how many times does 3 go into 27? 3 goes into 27. I'm not sure. Let's look at our factors. Where would 27 fall on this line? Up, 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 up. 27. Bingo. There is a 27, and that is 9 times. So we're going to write our 9 in that same place value in the tens column. And 3 times 9 is 27. So I'm going to put the 27 underneath the other 27 and subtract them. That's going to give us answer of 0. And we're going to bring down our 9. Make sure you bring it all the way down to the same line you're working on. Now this is our ones column. Our last question is, how many times does 3 go into 9? Let's look at our factors. 3 goes into 9. Bingo, there's our 9. 3 times. So go up to the ones column. It's 3. Now what's 3 times 3? 3 times 3 is 9. Take away 9 from 9. You have 0. Are there any numbers left? No, there are not. Is there anything left over? No, there is not. There is no remainder. So our answer is 193. Now what happens when we have a divisor that goes into the tens? So we don't have just our ones column anymore. Now we have a number that's into the tens. It is the same process as when we had our divisor in the ones. So we can go ahead and start by saying, how many times does 18 go into 6? Now, I don't know my factors of 18, so I'm going to write out my factors of 18. But I already know 18 times 1 is 18. So it doesn't go into 6 at all, because that is greater than 6. So I'm going to put 0. And the product, 18 times 0, is 0. And let's go ahead and get my right color out. 6 minus 0 is 6. And we're going to bring down our next place value in the tens, which is 4. That's going to give us the number 64. So now we ask ourselves, how many times does 18 go into 64? I wonder how many times 18 goes into 64. I don't know off the top of my head. And I don't have these factors memorized. But just like we did with the 3, we can do with 18, even though it's a big number. So we're going to do 18 plus 18. 18 times 2 is, let's see, 8 and 8, that's 16. And then 1, 2, and the carried 1 is 3, that's 36. Add another 18, that would be 18 times 3. Get this to focus. All right. So I'd do 36 plus 18. 8, 14, carry the 1. That'd be 54. Let's do 18 times 4. We're going to add another 18 to 54. Carry the 1. It'd be 72. All right, so we've gotten already to 64. 64 would be in between 54 and 72. So 72 is too big, so we're going to take the 54. What times 18 makes closest number to 64? That would be the 3. I'm going to put the 3 up here. Write the product of 18 times 3 and find the difference. We're going to bring down our next number. Okay, I'll take a quick break there. When I brought down our last ones column, number 8, it made this dividend 108. Now that's still a big number. So we're just going to have to go through the work of factoring out 18. Now when I keep factoring out 18, I get exactly to 108 when I multiply 8 and 6. So that's 6 18s. I'm going to go ahead and put the answer of how many times 18 goes into 108, and that's 6. And I'm going to multiply those two numbers, 18 and 6, to get my product of 108. Find the difference is 0. There are no numbers left. There is nothing remaining or nothing left over. So we have no remainder. Our answer is 36. And let's go ahead and just check our answer real quick to make sure. Good way to check our answer is use the inverse operation. The inverse operation of 648 divided by 18 would be, or equals 36, would be 36 times 18 equals 648. Let's find out if that's true. Just kidding. All right, so when we add our two numbers together, we get 648. Does that match? Yes, it matches. So I know that 18 goes into 648 36 times. So again, long division, one-digit divisors are done the same way that double-digit or triple-digit or numbers even to the millions divide into these dividends, no matter what it is. The last thing you need to know is how to do a remainder. So I went ahead and worked out this problem. We have a divisor that's into the tens and a dividend that's actually into the thousands. So it's a pretty big number. And I went ahead and worked it out to this point. We have 51 goes into 1,831 35 times, but we're not done. When I multiply 51 times 5, I get the answer or product 255. When I subtract those, I'm going to borrow 10 from 30. This makes this a 2, a 9, and an 11. 11 minus 5 is 6. 9 minus 5 is 4. 2 take away 2 is nothing. So, are there any numbers left over to bring down? There are no numbers left over. But there are still numbers here. So what you do is you take those numbers, you bring them up to the top, and you put them as the remainder. It says a remainder of 46. So the answer of how many times is 51 going to 1,831? It's 35, remainder of 46. And please excuse the bad handwriting as I'm looking through a camera. So 35, remainder of 46.